Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pottery Corner, my studio down on the south coast of England near Chichester. Welcome back to another, another glazed kiln fire opening, but this one with jeopardy. Oh my goodness me. So when the kiln was on, we had a power cut or a power outage, I think as you call it in America. Whereby we had an unexpected interruption in electricity supply. Doesn't happen very often in this country, but when we get it, it tends to cause a little bit of problems because of course all the fridges go off and everything. Anyway, I don't know how long it was out for, because at the time I was having a lovely day at the vineyard, which is just up the road, with my husband, and I'll put a little clip in of me picking some grapes at the vineyard. So we were having a lovely... vineyard. So we were having a lovely day, and then of course I came back, checked the kiln, jeopardy, an error message. Oh my, that is one thing you really never want to see when you walk into your kiln room, is an error message on your programmer. So I thought, oh no, and I knew that the power had been off, but I don't think it had been off for very long. But it clearly interrupted the program. It was still climbing, so the temperature was still climbing. This was at about, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. So I thought, well, we'll leave it and let's see what happens. But actually, as the day went on, it wasn't getting there very quickly. So whether the power outage has actually damaged the elements, or whether the power outage has just interrupted the program, I'm not sure. But anyway, when I came in the evening to check the temperature, it still hadn't got up to my normal glaze firing temperature, which is 1225 degrees centigrade. So it had not got to 1225, but it had got to 1217. So we're not far down. I'm hoping that 8 degrees has not made a huge amount of difference in this kiln load. Otherwise we may have some problems. So let's flip the lid. Now, I've been a very good girl, because I actually haven't even had a sneaky peek. Shock horror, you say? No, I have not had a sneaky peek, because I was actually too frightened to look. So we're going to do it together. Be brave, be brave. I'm almost too frightened to open the lid. So come with me. Let's see what we've got in this kiln load. Right, so, well, may I just say that I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I'm just going to tilt the camera down so that you can see the top layer of this kiln. It all looks okay, so you never know your luck. We might just have got away with it. So we might, with luck, we'll see as we go down, but the top layer is encouraging, so I'm kind of hoping that that's good. There are some of my pieces in here. There are also some students' pieces. It's not actually too bad if my pieces don't come out right. But obviously, from my point of view, I really don't want to muck up my students' works. So first things first, this is one of Annette's origami bowls. If you watched my last video, you'll have seen the others in the series. So this is another one of those. It has a stilt on the back. I have to say, there's a lot of pinholing on this piece. I hope you can pick that up. We've got quite a lot of pinholing on the back. This is confetti, hundreds and thousands confetti on the front, and again there are a couple of pinholes only in places on there, but the pinholes are quite sharp. So it looks like actually that may well need to be refired. Glaze on the back is Amaco's Sapphire Float. On the front it's Amaco's Snow with the hundreds and thousands, as I call it, glazed chips on the front. Actually really nice, lovely colour combination on there. But as I say, these pinholes on the back, particularly in this section here, they're sharp, so that is going to have to be refired. I do hope that it's not a story of we've got to refire the whole kiln, but we'll see as we go further down. But a lovely piece, a nice composition, nice shape. Right, I've been playing with plates, as you know, and I have made some plates using a slab. Now, I can't remember who it was on Instagram that did it, but I think it might have been Jeanette Stevens from Far Forest Ceramics. If it was you, Jeanette, pop me a comment and just let me know. But basically, I rolled out a thick slab, popped it onto one of my Hartley & Noble MDF bats, and then threw from a thick slab. So I threw a plate from a thick slab. And I have made some bigger dinner plate size. These are kind of sort of like salad plate size. But really effective way of throwing plates, and they stay much flatter because you can pop them off of the Hartley & Noble bats a couple of days later, and of course you don't have to wire them off, which means you get these lovely flat bases. So that's a really good tip. Colour combination on here, this is Bots Onyx Black, which is not quite as deep as the Amaco Obsidian, but I couldn't get hold of Amaco Obsidian at the time, so I bought this Bots Onyx Black. I don't mind it, it's okay. On the other side, this is Mayco's Sea Salt, so the actual cream part is Mayco's Sea Salt, and I've used that round the rim, and actually the Onyx Black has very nicely mingled with that on the rim. I hope you can see there's just a little bit of mingling going on that rim, which is really nice. And then I've used my hundreds and thousands, as I call it, glazed chips on there. I really like that. That is smashing, very nice indeed. But again, just feeling the surface, there's a nasty pinhole there, if you can see it. So we shall see. I think that might be having to be refired. But lovely combination of glazed chips on there. And it's, as I say, life is like a box of chocolates, Forrest Gump. You don't know what you're going to get when you use them. But very nice palette of glazed chip colours on there. So that's okay, but I think we might well be refiring that because of the pinholes. Hope that's not the story of this kiln load. Okay, so I'm going to get this shelf out. So next thing down, I made a basket base which I wasn't massively happy with, and I thought, as I'm not massively happy with it, I'll put some more glaze on and refire it. So it started life with Amaco's turquoise, Sahara turquoise, which is matte, and I didn't really like it, so I added over the top some Mayco sea salt. Actually it looks sort of verdigris. It's better than it was. I suspect once it is actually made into a basket, it might actually look slightly nicer than it looks as a plain piece. It's picked up the texture a little bit better, which I really like, and it's given this sort of verdigris finish to it. No pinholes on that, interestingly, although having said that, I think there might be one there. But yeah, so this one's going to be made into a basket, and actually I'm going to Nikki's next week, so that video will come out with all the hundreds of hours of filming that I've done over the weeks and months that we've been preparing the bases, so that one will come out soon. Let's get this next shelf out. Almost with trepidation. almost praying to the kiln gods before I take this shelf out. Right, okay, actually, breathe out. It's okay, it's all right. So I'm just going to take out the props and we will see where we are. So these are the other two of my plates. I actually made 3. And again, lovely flat base, same combination. So this is the Bots Onyx Black. I quite like that it's shown the throwing rings, which I put on there purposefully, quite like that. And again, this is Mayco Sea Salt with Hundreds and Thousands glaze. Nice, quite like that. I think that's quite effective, and I'm going to use that same glaze combination on the dinner plates that are waiting upstairs. I was kind of waiting to see how they came out before I use that combination again. And there's one more of those. That one I put on some silicone sand because it was actually sitting on the kiln shelf itself. This one has a few more pinholes just on this section. Yeah, I think because they're going to be used for food, obviously I'll try refiring those. But what a lovely combination of glaze chips on this one. Really pretty, I love that. I wish that you could kind of sort of, well, I suppose you could, if you kept your glazed chips in individual pots, you'd know what they were. But as I've got about 80 or 90 glazed pots, that would be quite some undertaking to keep them all separately. But yeah, that's a lovely combination of chips on there. And actually, interestingly, no pinholes in the Hundreds and Thousands, but a couple on the Bots Onyx Black. So yeah, I think we might have to be refiring those. But interestingly, the mingle on the rim is nice on that one. Really nice, I like that. That's really pretty, isn't it? How that's just taken that sort of drip form on the side. So yeah, that's lovely. Definitely be using that on the dinner plates. See where we go with those. Right, this is I believe the last of Janet's plaques for the window. So if you watch my videos regularly over the weeks and months, again, we've had quite a lot of these plaques coming out. And as I say, I will actually, I think I'm going to ask Janet if I can visit her and just take a little bit of video so that you'll be able to see the finished piece. This is Earth. So she's done seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter, elements, earth, wind and fire. And then she's done the sun and the moon and a couple of other things. Can't remember what. But this one is Earth. And as you can see, we've got beautiful palladium earthworms on a slice through the ground. Really nice with stones. The stones are lovely. This is great. I can't remember all the glazes, but I'll have a go. That's wasabi. That's ancient copper, Amaco's ancient copper. That is Mayco's winter wood. That looks like Amaco's oatmeal. Now, that one is one that I don't like, and I was surprised actually how nice that is that that's come out. It is, I'm going to say it, and if it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. I think it's Mayco Glowing Embers, but I'll check that upstairs on the actual pot, but I think that's what it's called. And again, this one on the bottom, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, no, I'm not sure what that one is, but actually it's rather nice. Oh, I know what it is. It's Amaco's Temako, because Janet likes Temako glaze. And the earthworms, aren't they sweet? So yeah, really nice. That's lovely. I'm sure she'll be really pleased with that when she sees that this week when she comes in. Right, next shelf. Jeopardy, Jeopardy. Start praying to those kiln gods for me. Ooh. Do you know what? Sometimes you think to yourself, things happen for a reason, don't they? Well, what can I say? You can't see what's in here. Actually, maybe I should show you what's in here before I take anything else out, because I did not expect that to be looking at me. So let me show you what I'm looking at. Well, there you are. What do you think of that? That's not what I expected to see. But nonetheless, I'm very pleased I am seeing it. Well, there you are. What can I say about that? I'm just going to take these props out. Okay, so more little houses. You're probably getting terribly bored of me talking about these little houses. Slip cast in a plaster mould. There's a plaster mould making video. I'll put a card up for you. So as I say, I'm getting quite sort of obsessed with making them. Actually, there aren't any more on the shelf at the moment, so these must be the last two coming out. So really nice to just sit and decorate each one differently on both sides. And you put a candle underneath, and they're going to be for Christmas for mantelpieces. So I now have enough to make a town. I say that every week, but I really have got enough to make a town. So those are good, those are nice. So next out is the first of new student Louisa's seed pods. So I usually start people off with the seed pods, pinch pots, joined together with added fins. I mean, it's a simple project. It's very effective and gets people to get their hands on the clay. So this is Louisa's, very nice. And the glaze on there is... actually, it's Mayco Stroke and Coat, and I have to admit I only have one Mayco Stroke and Coat, which is My Blue Heaven. Really nice. So that's 2 coats of Mayco's Stroke and Coat My Blue Heaven. Quite nice that. Quite like that. Very effective. Nice texture. It's actually kept some of the texture that you can see on there. So yes, nice. And that's the first of Louisa's. This is the second of hers, and this one, I put them on little cookies just in case the glaze runs. This one is Mayco's Raspberry Mist on the top, the pink, and then the green is Amaco's Jade, a nice mid-green, very nice, yeah, very nice, that's nice. And she's used one of my textured stamps to get the texture on the top, and then they learn how to carve in and add decoration, as well as obviously putting things on with slipping and scoring. So they're quite a good project to start the new people on. Right, so next out of here, this is my demonstrator of that project, and the glaze combination on here is, oh, she's got to remember, 1 coat of Amaco Ironstone, which is a nasty glaze, with 2 coats of Amaco's Iron Luster over the top, and then just on the top and on the fins, but only down to about there, Amaco's Ancient Jasper. And what happens with the Ironstone and the Iron Luster is it gives you this lovely blue. Really, really pretty. So yeah, pleased with that. And the Ancient Jasper just on the top just means that jasper's got space to move down the fins. So yeah, I mean, I make I make quite a lot of these. Then again, they're nice to make, and they look lovely in the garden on a metal stake. So yeah, those are really good. I'm sure Louisa will be pleased with those. Next, we had some more newbie throwers. So this one is Nicola's. So they threw on the wheel for the first time. I love teaching people how to throw. It's obviously always much harder than they think it's going to be. But if they can actually produce pots that they can use, you know, I mean, how great is that on your first time of using a wheel to actually make a mug? So glaze combination on this one, Amaco's Weeping Plum on the inside. This is Amaco's Chun Plum on the rim and on the outside. And then on the bottom, she's just put a little bit of Amaco's Smoky Merlot, which she's layered over the top of the Chun Plum. I like that. Very nice. Lovely mug. It's a little bit distorted, but I mean, you know, hey, I think she's done a great job, and that's a usable size mug. Very nice. So well done, Nicola, for your first time. That was really good. Now, this one again is Nicola's. That's got a cookie on the bottom. Yeah, really good. So that is Mayco's Blue Hydrangea on the inside. That is Amaco's Sapphire Float, which I think she's put over the whole thing, and then she's put, now what over the top of that? I think it's the Blue Hydrangea again. Not entirely sure. Can't say that one. Oh no, I know what it is. It's so it's Blue Hydrangea on the inside, Amaco's Sapphire Float on this section here, and then this section here is Amaco's Indigo Float. So again, she did really well to make a proper size mug. I mean, really good, and a lovely textured handle. Lost a little bit of its definition with the Indigo Float on it, but very, very nice. What a lovely thing. How it's joyful to be able to use something that she's made. So lovely, I love that. And then this rather gorgeous bowl, which is a complete happy accident, is mine. Right, let's see if we can remember what the glaze combination is. Oh my. Whew. I wasn't expecting that. I can't actually remember what it was. Fantastic. Oh, I know what it is. That, believe it or not, is Amaco's Adventurine. How fabulous is that? Look at that. Looks like flambe. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look. Beautiful, beautiful glaze. Well, that's a surprise. A real surprise. Look at that. I hope you're picking up that beautiful colour from the lights. Look at this here. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So that is 2 coats of Amaco's Adventurine on the back. On the inside, which interestingly, I'm not sure if the camera will pick up, but it's crazing already. This is, now let me think. It is a Mayco Jungle Gems called, and do you think I can remember which one it is? I'll put it on the screen because I just can't remember which one it is. But whichever one it is, my word, what? I mean, that must have happened because of the failure with the programmer, because I'm quite sure that I would not have got that result from a normal firing. And obviously these Mayco Jungle Gems have glass in them, and what's happened is that all the glass is pooled in the bottom here, and it looks like I've added glass, but I haven't. That's actually just from the firing. I mean, you couldn't do that if you wanted to, could you? But I shan't be able to use it for food because it has started to craze. I hope the camera is just picking up that this is just starting to craze. Isn't that beautiful though? Couldn't have done it if I'd tried. So happy days, happy days. That's a beautiful, beautiful bowl. Really like that. That's going to stay in my house. That's not going anywhere. Really lovely, very happy with that. Let's get this last shelf out. I hope we're all right on the lower level as well. Right, okay. Whew. We're all right, it looks okay. Right, let's get out this one first. So this is another of Annette's origami bowls. If you watch my last kiln opening, the other 2 in this series were in that firing. Again, we do have some pinholing going on in the centre there. I'm not sure that you'll be able to pick that up. It isn't too bad, but I think it's probably going to need to be refired. So the glaze combination on this one is Amaco's Blue Lagoon on the back, with Blue Lagoon in this square section here, and this is Amaco's Glacier on the front. Now, if you watched my last kiln opening, you'll hear me say, not enough glaze, and again, not enough glaze. Definitely needed at least 1 more coat. And if it's not thick enough, this brush-on glaze, this Amaco brush-on glaze, you get this patching, which is fine in this instance because it's actually on the back, and the front is fine. But you know, that's slightly disappointing. It's a slightly disappointing effect, and if it had had more glaze on it, she probably would have done better. So actually Annette is coming back to glaze one of her other pieces, so I might actually get her, as I've got to refire this, to put another layer of Blue Lagoon on the back, because she might just as well, because it's going to have to be refired because of the pinholes. So we'll do that, and that will sort that one. The last bits and pieces in here are from the same throwing course with the new ladies. This one is Leslie's. Now this I thought was a terrific idea. So this has been glazed in Amaco's Glacier, which I have to say is one of my favourite glazes. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what on earth is that? Well, this is a herb shredder. So say for instance you've got coriander or thyme or basil or something. You thread the stalk of the herb through the hole and pull it, and it takes the greenery off. Genius, yeah, I knew you'd say that. What do you think of that? Write it in the comments. Ever seen that before? Leslie picked it up off of Pinterest, I think. What a brilliant idea, terrific. So it'll be interesting to see how she uses that, and I'll ask her to feed that back. But yeah, genius idea. All she's done is put different size holes in the side for the different size stems on the herbs. So yeah, clever little idea, like that. Very clever. I like it when things are functional. Very clever. This one is got a cookie stuck on the bottom, which I need to get off. This one is Nicola's. No, yes, Nicola's. So this is the same combination as her mug, which is blue hydrangea, sapphire float and indigo float. Yeah, nice bowl. And again, she did well to make a decent sized bowl. I mean, you could use that for peanuts, but I mean, I think if you weren't a great eater, you could use it for muesli or yogurt and fruit or something. So yeah, very nice. And the same combination as the mug, and the two go together really well. Lovely. I just need to knock that cookie off of the bottom. This one is Leslie's mug, and again, look at that, sweet. So glaze combination, that is Amaco's ice on the inside. Now Amaco's ice is practically transparent, but it has like a tiny blue hue on it, which is nice. And the glaze on the outside, again, one of my favourites, is Amaco's Blue Rutile. Isn't that beautiful? And a textured handle, so she's got the blue rutile breaking over the textured handle, and then yeah, really nice. I really like that. That's really sweet. Yeah, well done, Leslie. That's gorgeous, like that. Next, this one again is Nicola's. We've just got a little nibble on there where it's come off of the cookie, so that's dripped down and then nibbled it, so I'll need to just Dremel that. Glaze combination on this one, let me think. That is, yes, interesting. So that is Mayco's Meadow on the inside, and I think because it's not got hot enough, there's no yellow in it, because usually it has little yellow flecks in it. This is Amaco's Textured Turquoise, and on the bottom, can't tell you that. I think there's a third colour on this one, and then on the bottom I'm not sure, I can't remember. I can't remember what that is, but it's actually very nice. It might be seaweed. It looks like it's acting like seaweed would act, which is probably why it's just dripped onto the cookie on the bottom. Again, you know, you'd be pleased with that if that was your first time of throwing, wouldn't you? It's really nice, lovely colour combination. I know that Nicola's going to be really pleased with those. There are two of Leslie's bowls. Now this is an interesting glaze. This is Mayco's Moonstone, but I didn't get away with it, did I? Can you see the surface on there? I mean, it is Moonstone, well named. Yeah, I think this one has suffered the most from the lack of higher temperature. It's almost got a pimpled surface on it, which is interesting. And I suspect that it could have done with going a little bit higher. I don't actually mind it. It's almost like an arty surface on it, and it does feel like the surface of the moon. Not that I know what the surface of the moon is like, but yeah, very nice. But a lovely glaze. Where it's thicker, it goes this white colour, and where it's thinner, it stays blue. So that is a good glaze, and there is another one of those. Let's see if that one fared any better. So this is thicker on the inside because it's whiter, and on the outside it's bluer. Yeah, there is a little bit of pimpling on there, but do you know what? I don't mind that. I think I might speak to Leslie and see what she thinks as to whether or not we refire that or not. I don't mind it. There's quite sort of a roughness to the surface, but it is actually sealed. So yeah, interesting, nice. Those are a nice couple of bowls as well. And then the last thing in this kiln is my demonstrator mug that I did when we were doing that particular throwing course. And as I said earlier, my favourite glaze, or one of them, Amaco's Glacier. Gorgeous, love it, love it. And this is a bird on a wire. And this is an Ellen transfer, which is again lovely, and I like the simplicity of just this single layer of birds sitting on a wire. So yeah, that's one of mine. Textured handle. There is a video on how to apply handles, so I'll put a card up for that. Yeah, really nice. I mean, you know, just simple, but a really nice mug, and they just feel so nice in your hand, don't they? As we're standing here, this bowl is tinging. So whilst it is absolutely and utterly gorgeous, I can hear it tinging in the background where it's literally crazing as we speak. Right, so that's your lot in the kiln. So you know what's coming now? Shout outs. So thank you as ever to everybody that makes a comment or sends me a message on my videos. I do really appreciate it. And I must say that I have a special shout out this week to Misty Richards. On the Skyline Luminaire tutorial, I cheekily asked for some super thanks donations for doing the filming and the prep and everything that goes with making the tutorial videos, because obviously I'm using my unique design and then showing you how to make it. And I said I am trying to sort of update my camera equipment and my lighting and all the rest of it so that I get better at doing it. And she made a super thanks donation which was over and above, and I was really touched. So Misty, I know you'll be watching, because I know you are my number one super fan. Misty Richards, number one super fan. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. And anybody else who wants to bung me a couple of quid for giving you tips and tricks on your clay journey, there is a super thanks button just along the line from the like button, and you can make a donation to me. And as I say, I'm putting it towards the new camera equipment. So, right, shout outs. What have we got? We've got quite a few this week, actually. This one comes from Shelley Nielsen, who's in Pittsburgh in USA. She says, "Hi Sarah, watching your kiln opening, always so much fun." Yes, I hope so. I do hope so, Shelley. And then she says it's finally cooled off in Pittsburgh, so she's been busy glazing and firing. Tomorrow, her granddaughter Aletta will be joining her for glazing sculptural flowers for the garden. So she says there will also be seed pods in the next load, so she'll send some photos of that. So she sent me a couple of pictures. The vase is raku, which has a plastic cup lining so that it can hold flowers, and the plate is snow, so Amaco snow on speckled clay, sprinkled with assorted glaze chips. Now I love that. So here we are, one raku vase with beautiful flowers in it, which is really nice. And then the plate, which I thought was lovely, So that's Amaco Snow on speckled clay with glaze chips. And don't the glaze chips look great? I think it's a really clever way of using something that would just get basically washed down the sink. So thank you for sending me that, Shelley. Very kind, and I'll look forward to receiving the pictures of your seed heads when you've done them. Oh, this is from long time YouTube viewer, Katie Walters. So Katie, hello, it's great to hear from you. A really lovely email from Katie saying what she's been doing and using a leaf that's cool. It comes from the, oh, I'm not even going to pronounce this properly. I'm not going to pronounce it properly, so I'm going to use the Emperess tree, and then I'll put the horticultural name down for you. So it says the leaf was nearly 20 to 21 inches across. By the time the clay had dried, it was 17 to 18 inches. So this is really interesting because she says she's used Tony Beaver clay by Kentucky Mudworks, and she's glazed it with Western Rustic Orange Art, which is a rusty orange and breaks green over textures. She said she was unsure if somebody would actually pay for it, but alas, it's sold, but the lady was thrilled to have it. So this is Katie with the leaf. I mean, as I say, what an enormous leaf that is, huge. And then this is the dish. So very, very nice. What a lovely piece, great shape, great glaze. I really like that. So Katie, thank you for sending me that. It's always good to hear from people who've been watching me for a long time and commenting on my videos every week. So thank you for that. This one comes from Teresa, and I'll put your name over because I'm not even going to try to pronounce it without offending you. So she says, "Hi Sarah, I really enjoy your show. I was inspired by your seed pod video and even dreamed up a few more of my own. I'm not a gardener, so I cannot say if either of them are true specimens, but I really enjoyed making them." So yeah, I think that's terrific. And these are really lovely, Teresa. So she's taken the sculptural poppy head tutorial, which is this seed head here, and again there's a video on that. I'll pop a card up, and then taken her imagination to make the others. So terrific. Thank you, Teresa, for sending me that. And then I've just had a couple of really lovely emails via the website from watchers across the country and across the world, actually. This one is from Teresa. I'm not going to pronounce that one either. I don't want to offend. Studio 140 in Bethany in Connecticut. So, Teresa, thank you. She says, "Just a note to say that I adore your videos. I subscribe to many ceramic arts YouTube channels, but yours is the first I watch if I see a new one posted." So, thank you. That's really sweet. She's just getting her new studio set up after moving across the country from the desert in Arizona to the beautiful hills of Connecticut. What a change in scenery and weather, but I love it. Her new kiln arrived last week, lucky girl, and as soon as it's all in place, I will be a full-time retired potter. Lucky, lucky you. So, thank you for all your inspiring videos. You are indeed a treasure, and I hope to see you for many more years to come. Teresa, I agree. Thank you very much. That's absolutely lovely. Enjoy your new kiln. And the last one is from Ginny in South Carolina. And again, I'm touched by your generosity when you send me little notes. "Dear Sarah, your videos on pottery making are the best I've ever seen." Wow. "I am now paying $12 monthly for an online pottery course, but I'm learning so much more from you and in such a joyful fashion." Oh, thank you. That's so kind, Ginny. Thank you for all the glaze combinations you do. It is extremely helpful that you post the name of the glaze and state the order of the application. Yeah, I think that's really important. There's no point in telling you what the glaze is and then not telling you how many coats it is and how far down the glazing actually went. My only regret is that I'm in the States and too distant to attend your studio classes in person. So thank you, Jenny. Means a lot, as I say, when you send me little notes. So thank you for that. And I'm glad that other people get so much out of the content that I put up on the channel. As always, I'm very grateful to you for watching, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye for now.